This screencast is going to be how to use some of the basic functions of SolidWorks. Now, whenever we click on New, we can see we have three possible entries we can go into. We can create a part, an assembly, or a drawing. Now, this first thing we're going to look at now is a part. Now, the part is the basic construction of a 3D model of one component. Now, here we see our workspace, and to the left we can see a couple of the different planes in which we can draw. We can draw on the right plane, which we can draw, say, an end elevation. We can draw on a front plane, which should be a front elevation. And the top plane, we can draw a plan view sketch. Now, in order to create a drawing, we need to do, or a model, we need to make a sketch. And these sketches need to be placed on a plane. Now, first of all, we're going to draw a sketch on the front plane. Now, the first function we're going to look at now is how to create a rectangle. Now, this particular rectangle here we have selected from a center point to the midpoint of a side line and to the top corner of the rectangle. We can also draw a line. A line is basically simply a line that you can draw at any set angle. Another function is a circle. A circle here, in this case, we're going to work from the center point to a point on the radius. And using the toolbar at the left hand side, we can change the radius of this circle. This next function here is how to draw a circle with three reference points. This can be useful when trying to draw a circle between three different tangent lines. Now we're going to right click on our drawing and delete. We can also move this circle by dragging its center point, and we're going to drag it to the origin. Another function is a polygon. A polygon, we can change the number of sides, so we can do a pentagon, a hexagon, hexadecagon. Now there's a couple of ways we can draw these. We can draw using an inscribed circle, where the circle is tangential to all the sides of the polygon. Or we can draw another version of a polygon using a circumscribed circle. The circumscribed circle, the circle goes through the external vertices of the polygon. Notice that all the vertices, when joined to the opposite side, go through the origin. By dragging across and clicking the delete button, we can clear our workspace. Now, for to do symmetrical objects, sometimes it's useful not to draw the whole thing, but to draw only half of the image and then use mirror entities or a linear sketch pattern for to move across. This way we can mirror, so to say, our image across a datum line. So here we're going to draw an arrowhead. Now by clicking on mirror, we can select all the lines about which we want to mirror, and mirror about selects our datum reference line. Now, instead of having to draw exactly and get your angles perfect and the lines perfect, we simply just need to mirror about and the object is symmetrical. Another useful function for the save time, instead of having to draw multiple objects, we can use a sketch pattern. Now here we're going to try and rotate this rectangle after drawing inside the circle about the origin. We're going to try and repeat this in a circular pattern around. Now, parameters, we're going to select our rotational point to be the origin, and at the bottom here for entities to pattern, we're going to click the 4 sides of the square, and by clicking this button we can change the amount of entities we want to have patterned around the origin. Now this is a sketch on our front plane, and now we can see how this looks in a 3D pattern by clicking in the scroll button and moving the mouse around. Now we can see how the view is distorted by looking at it from different angles. Looking at it from an isometric view, we can see the sketch skewed 30 degrees to either side. Now we're going to try and draw another sketch on another plane. In this case, we're going to look at the top plane. We're just going to draw another rectangle simply, but it just contrasts the two different views. Exiting the sketch, we click the purple button. We can rotate and we can see how the two views mesh together. This is very useful in gaining an understanding of how three-dimensional objects work, and it's very good for developing how you understand the movement of these objects within the mind. Now, we can click to save our part, and I'm just going to call this blog 1. Now so far we have only really looked at the 2D patterns, 2D sketches. Now we're going to try and show you how to solidify these sketches using some features. Now, using extruded boss base feature, we can create our sketch to be three-dimensional in just extending it out a certain distance by dragging an arrow or by entering it in the toolbar on the left hand side. Now this is a unidirectional extruded base. In that it is only extended in one direction. By clicking on direction 2, we can extend the base out on the other side. Here we can see how the drum, say, or the linear pattern or the circular pattern we created can be solidified in a 3D object. Very simply, using very simple functions. SOLIDWORKS is a great software for to try and gain an understanding on how 3D objects can be created. There's also another function, the extruded cut function, where we can cut our top view square. We can make a slot straight through. And we're going to clear our whole workspace by deleting each part systematically. And one more function I'd like to show, or feature I'd like to show you, is the revolve function. In this case, we're going to show how to create a round object around a datum point. In this case, we're going to try and draw a donut using simply a circle and a reference line. Now going back and creating a sketch on our front plane, we're going to draw a circle. And below this, we're going to create a datum reference line about which we'll rotate this circle. Going to features, revolve base, we can select our circle and it is automatically detecting the line below as a reference line. By clicking yes, we can see that we have easily created a ring-shaped donut. And that's the end of this tutorial on how to use some of the basic features and sketches of SolidWorks.